Hello and welcome back to In the Corner. I'm Cash, episode 46. Got a lot of good stuff to talk about today. We're about to enter one of the craziest fight weeks maybe ever, and I don't say that because we have one of the biggest fights of all time this weekend. It's just that we have three massive events: Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and it is going to be a treat. Friday night, New York City, Times Square, we get a loaded card. I mean, like, it's in New York City. We're getting a lot of the future, I mean, not even future, they are the stars of American boxing today. Ryan Garcia returns against Rolly Romero. Devin Haney is in with Jose Ramirez. And Teofimo Lopez versus Arnold Barboza Jr. It's a very good card, very good matchups for all of them, and big fights to come, and what a spectacle it's going to be. I'm so curious to see how it ends up looking like. We're seeing already the ring is kind of building out, the stage and the ring for it and whatever. And then on Saturday, we're going to be back in Saudi Arabia for Canelo's debut outside of North America. He's in with William Skull, reunifying the division, going back for Undisputed. Pretty good card on that one. Jaime Munguia goes in with Bruno Saras again after getting knocked out in an upset of the year. Martin Bakoli, F.A. Ajagba. And we've got Badu Jack and Noel McKaylian fighting for the WBC Cruiserweight title. Great card there. We're actually going to talk about there's been another edition, but we'll save that for later. And then Sunday, when you think it's all over, you get Naoya Inoue, one of the best fighters in the world today, maybe pound for pound number one. He's in with Ramon Cardenas, defense of his title. Co-main event, Rafael Espinoza versus Edward Vasquez. That's in Las Vegas in the T-Mobile Arena. It's going to be a spectacular weekend, and can't wait to do all that. We're going to do something special, so next episode is going to come out on Friday probably, and that's where we're going to do a whole deep dive and, really break down the fights, give you my predictions for all of them, and then each day of the week, each morning, we're going to do, each event's going to get its own episode. We're going to break it down. So Saturday morning, I'll do an episode about the Times Square card and what happened. Sunday morning, we'll talk about Canelo. And then Monday morning, we'll talk about Inoue Cardenas. So it's going to be a really, really fun weekend. I can't wait. But we've got some other stuff to talk about today. We had a huge fight announcement that I feel like is just really, not gotten the juices going because everybody kind of knew this was going to happen. But it's official. July 19th at Wembley Stadium, Oleksandr Usyk and Daniel Dubois run it back for Undisputed. We're getting an Undisputed Heavyweight Championship, and I feel like nobody really cares. And when I say nobody cares, I don't mean that nobody's going to watch it. People are excited for it, I'm sure. But people don't understand, I feel like nobody's really grasping, whoa, we're getting another Undisputed Heavyweight title. And it's just because this happened so recently. And when it did, it was such a big deal. But, Usyk's already been there, done that. And he really is still kind of the undisputed champion. He never lost any of those belts. It just kind of got taken away, and now Daniel Dubois is going right back into it. So, it's a little bit odd to me how I feel like nobody's really, I don't know. I feel like it's not grabbing the attention that it really should. I watched the press conference earlier. It was a good one. Usyk is very funny. He's just really funny, and I love listening to him speak. And then Dubois barely said a word, which old Daniel Dubois doesn't surprise me at all, and even the new one, but I feel like we've seen Daniel's personality come out a lot in this last year or so with his new skill, his newfound confidence and stuff. He's totally transformed as a fighter, and I feel like he has done that, in his character as well. So I don't know. I think he literally answered one question, and that was it. Don Charles did a lot of speaking. Of course, the entire conversation, the whole press conference was over the body shot, that infamous controversial low blow. It was at a low blow in August in Poland of 2023. And, we're going to see what happens. It's going to be part of the Daniel Dubois' game plan to go for those body shots. As for me, I think that Usyk wins this fight, even though I think Dubois is at his best right now, and he's at his most dangerous. And Usyk is still looked great, but he also is, this is probably his second to last fight maybe. Is he going to be able? He's going in there with a killer. Well, let's see what happens, but I definitely think Usyk will take this one, and we'll talk about them more as we get closer, but huge fight. I can't believe they're doing it at Wembley. Very, very surprising, if you ask me. It's, I don't know. You did AJ Dubois at Wembley, but that was a little bit different. AJ had been such on a run, and he's also one of the biggest stars in boxing, especially in the UK, where you put him in there against anybody and he'll sell it out. It just helps that it was a British opponent for the IBF championship. And now, you get an undisputed championship. You get Daniel Dubois, the guy who beat Anthony Joshua in front of 100,000 at Wembley last year. So I see what they're doing there, but it's Usyk is not as big a star as AJ is. This is honestly probably a bigger fight. but Usyk is not as big a star as AJ is, even though he's beat him twice. He's just not. So I don't think they're going to sell it out. I'm sure they'll do great numbers. They'll probably sell around at least like 50,000 maybe, but like Wembley is so big. It's so big. Like you just look at Tottenham Hotspur this weekend, how great it looked. That's only 65,000. Wembley is like 95,000. So it's wild. But the fight bill is going to be good. Dubois pushed Usyk in their face-off, which was really weird and out of nowhere, but that's why you got to love Daniel Dubois. He's just like, why did you do that? He's just really funny. And then Usyk challenged Dubois' team to a 4v4 street fight. He said this to George Fox, I believe is his name, who's the son of Don Charles, also a heavyweight boxer. And, when they were talking back and forth, not the day of the press conference, but I believe the day before at the stadium. So I don't know. It's interesting. There's definitely some animosity this time around. It's a totally different fight than it was last time around in 2023. And I'm excited for the build-up. I think it's going to be fun. And then one of the more interesting things to come out of this is, Usyk's on a big press run right now, and Tyson Fury responded and essentially said something along the lines of, I beat Usyk twice, and the whole world knows it. Next time we're going to do it in front of a 100K sucker. It was something like that. So it's like, okay, he's teasing a return. He teased a return something else. It's odd because as soon as Fury announced his retirement, I said, I call BS. But it's been like 3+ months since then. I haven't really heard much. So part of me is thinking he may have genuinely retired and now just started to think about coming back. Listen, if Tyson Fury comes back, I don't want to see an Usyk trilogy. There's no point. Yeah, they were close fights, but Usyk clearly won both of them. Nobody thinks that you won either fight. I'm sure there's maybe one or two Fury meat riders, but realistically, nobody out there is saying Fury won both the fights. He got robbed in both. It's crazy. But, going into a Fury return, I think that it has to be Anthony Joshua. We don't even know what's going on with Anthony Joshua. He had some injury where he hasn't been able to punch since Wembley in September. It's been like 7 months. So it's odd. I'm a little bit confused why they didn't bring up Daniel Dubois' situation when he pulled out against the Joseph Parker fight. That was really weird to me why nobody was talking about that. They didn't ask him at all. And I feel like he gave an explanation like a month after, and we haven't really – I really would have liked more clarification there, but we didn't get it. So I would love to see Fury return and fight AJ. Doesn't need to be Usyk. Don't need to see that. So more stuff about Eubank Benn that happened in the last few days. Turkey has confirmed plans for Eubank Benn 2 in September. We know that he's probably going to try and do it at the same stadium. I don't hate it. It's just the weight thing that was neither guy's optimal weight. Eubank needs to be fighting at a higher weight class. Ben needs to be fighting at a lower weight class. And just going into this fight, both of them are going to try and change the weights around and stuff. And, it's just going to end up being worse for one person than it did in the first fight. So I don't know if we really need the rematch, but I also would love to see it because it was one of the best fights I've ever seen. I mean, I'm just still in like the come down of what a tremendous event they put on in London. It was something else with the dads and everything. Oh my gosh. Speaking of the dads, apparently it was Turkey who helped arrange junior and seniors reunion for the event. And listen, here in Turkey, got Eubank Sr. to show up. He paid him. Like, let's not dance around. He paid him to come, which is okay. It's whatever. I don't know. I hope that Senior's still proud of Junior, and they've still reconciled in a way, but, I'm really glad he showed up, but I do think that Turkey probably gave him a good check to show up. And then also Eubank, there's a lot of talk about him going to the hospital, rumors of a broken jaw. He has been released from the hospital on Monday. We also heard that Ben was also taken to the hospital as a precautionary measure. I know it's a big story just because of how big this fight was, but to be honest, I feel like this happens a lot. We knew that Eubank, both guys should have been taken to the hospital after all the punishment they took. And that happens with every fight, I feel. It's just smart. It's just smart to go to the hospital and just do a checkup. I will say, it is a little bit odd to me that he stayed there. He didn't leave until Monday because usually you go Saturday night, get checked out for a few hours, and then you're good to go. But maybe he just wanted to rest all day in the hospital, and I don't know. That was a little bit interesting to me that he was in there for so long, but who knows? We're hearing that the event did 1 million pay-per-view buys, which is very, very good. Unbelievable, honestly. Apparently, they almost hit 1 million in the UK. They were close to that number, and certainly did 1 million worldwide. So DAZN is very happy with it. I'm sure Sky is as well. And, that's great to hear. And I think there's multiple reasons for that. I think that there was just the buildup that they did. Because, I mean, think about it. How many fights in recent years have done 1 million pay-per-view buys? I think the Fury and Usyk fights, maybe they did 1 million. I don't think that we ever heard about AJ Dubois. I don't think that they probably did as big as Eubank Benn, if I'm being honest. I don't know. I mean, Paul Tyson, obviously, but that wasn't a pay-per-view. UFC, I don't know if they're really hitting those numbers. So for a fight that got chalked up as a circus fight, they did really, really well, very successful, and that's great to hear, because that's only good for boxing. And I'm glad that 1 million people got to see how great that sport is with the fight of the year. If any fight could sell that many pay-per-views, we need it to be a great one, and it did. It lived up to all the expectations, and it over-delivered even. And then lastly, the Eubank weight cut just came in that it's being investigated by the British Boxing Board of Control. Just because they're saying that Eubank's made that weight many times in the past of his career and nothing really changed, and they're not sure why he didn't make it this time around. Listen, I think the BBBFC overreacted a little bit with their $500,000 fine for 0.05 pounds over. I mean, he didn't make weight, I guess. Yeah, it's true. That's a little bit much. And, them now investigating him, thinking something was fishy about him trying to come in too much overweight. I mean, again, he came in 0.05 pounds over. If this is like 5 pounds over, absolutely investigated. That's really weird when he made 160 in October. But, I mean, even in October, we know he was struggling to make that weight cut. He made it very clear. He was like, this is tough. So we know. And he used to fight at 168. He just moved down to 160 in the past, few years or whatever. So we knew that he can very much fit the next weight class, and he's cutting down to get to 168 or 160. So I'm not surprised at all they had a difficult time cutting weight, especially with the rehydration clause in the back of his mind. Yeah, I don't know really what they can do about that. I don't think that there was anything sinister about it. Who knows? Maybe it is Eubank. He's very calculative, but I don't know. Going to move on to some other news. Big news out of nowhere. So we're hearing about the Sebastian Fundora and Xander Zayas purse bid talks, obviously. The WBO ordered this fight as a mandatory for Fundora. They had started talking, weren't able to reach a deal. Then they had to purse bids. Right before purse bids are set to be called, Fundora pulls out of the purse bids as the champion. So he is now set to vacate his WBO world title, and he is going to fight Tim Tszyu in a rematch for the WBC title as a voluntary defense. And this is just so weird to me. It came so out of nowhere because, listen, first of all, I don't hate Fundora Tszyu too. It was a tremendous fight, a huge bloodbath. There was some controversy with the cut of, was that really the best we could see of Tim Tszyu, especially when he was winning the fight early on. And, so it's definitely a fight that warrants a rematch. Sure, it took a while to get there, but it was a great fight. And, I'm definitely down to see it run back. But it's just kind of weird to me because I'm like, hold on. This was we did this in like a few months ago. We were hearing that Tim Tszyu and Keith Thurman both fought in Australia, no limit cards, and they're saying we're going to do that fight finally. It was actually supposed to happen instead of Fundora Tszyu in the first place back in March of 2024. So they were setting that fight up. It was going to be in July as well. We're hearing that this will be on July 19th. PBC's already announced it. They said it's happening. So I don't know what was going on, that maybe Fundora was waiting options, and PBC, for whatever reason, decided, let's not do Tszyu Thurman. Let's do Fundora Tszyu too. We know that July 19th is also the date for the Barrios versus Pacquiao fight. So I think that they're looking to combine those two maybe and then make it a pay-per-view. Because, if you give us Fundora Tszyu too, which remember, the first fight was a pay-per-view, which was odd, and then you give us Pacquiao's return on the same card and you're giving it to us for free, I doubt they do that. But I don't really care. It's just so odd to me. I hate that he vacated it. He's not ducking him because he is taking Tszyu, which is probably a tougher fight. It's a guy he's already beaten, but still, Zayas this way will get his title shot on Top Rank home soil for sure, and he's going to get it in a fight where he'll be the favorite. We're hearing it'll probably be Jorge Garcia Perez. That sounds like the plan they're pursuing, which makes a lot of sense. Jorge deserves that opportunity after his win over Charles Conwell, and that's a fight that I would definitely put Zayas as favorite in. We know Top Rank is very, very careful in their matchmaking, and when they get these guys their world title shots, they want to make sure they're doing it against someone that they think they can beat. Keyshawn did against Baranchuk. Now he's fighting De Los Santos. Murtay's in with Abdullayev. These are not the cream of the crop of the division per se. So we're going to see, what they really decide to do here. It's interesting. Bakar Murtazaliev has jumped in and now called out Keith Thurman, as has Michael Zarafa, who was in the mix with Tim Tszyu as well. So I think that Thurman's got some he's got some options there. I really hate Bacrum calling out Thurman just because he wants the payday. And I get it, nobody's fighting him, but he's a top-of-the-line fighter, and he needs to be in with another champion, if we're being honest, or at least a really good defense. Thurman doesn't deserve a world title shot right now. I want to see Bacrum Murtazalia versus Virgil Ortiz Jr. That's what I want to see. But I'm not mad at Fedor Tszyu. I'm not mad at Zayas Perez. I just would have rather seen Fedor Zayas, and we no longer have a unified champion in that division, which is just going to make it harder to unify and go for undisputed, but whatever. We're hearing that Diego Pacheco, Trevor McCumbee will be co-main event to Bam Rodriguez versus Fumalele Kafu on July 19th in Texas. We're hearing more and more reports this is going to happen. Likely will get announced soon. We know they've been working on Pacheco and McCumbee for a while and chose to do that over the Billy fight. It's supposed to happen in June. For whatever reason, it's now going to be in July. And I think there's a really good main co-main event doubleheader. Both Bam and Pacheco are from the West. I think Bam is from Texas and Pacheco's from California. So they'll do a good numbers in Texas for sure. And I'm excited to see this card. I mean, there's really good fights for both of them. Bam, you get a unification. McCumbee had a really good showing against Caleb Plant. Again, that'll be Pacheco's toughest fight probably. And then I think we're ready to see him in a true 50-50 world title type fight. But yeah, I'm excited to see this. I'm sure it'll get announced pretty soon if I'm being honest. But yeah, I'm excited to see that event. I can't wait to see Bam return. Golden Boys officially announced Bec Dembole versus Darius Fulgham, DFG. Really, really interesting fight. I'm just so surprised they're making this. It seems like Golden Boy's like, dude, we got too many of these guys in this weight class. We just got to consolidate, And, we've got two 168-pounders that are actually in very similar positions in terms of trying to crack into a big fight. Melikuziev has been around for a bit, but, obviously was knocked out by Gay Rosado and did get that rematch, but was, he's just been kind of on the outside looking in. DFG's been a prospect that's been rising up the ranks, and he's ready for a big shot soon, and he gets it just against Beck. And I think this is a fantastic fight. I don't even know who you favor. It would probably be Beck just based off experience and what he's shown so far, but DFG has looked super good. He's a big puncher. And I don't know. I'm just really, really surprised that they're making this fight. It's a huge jump for Darius Fulgham. Reminds me a lot of Richard Torres versus Guido Vianello. Like, are we going too far? And then Torres looked phenomenal. So we'll see what happens here. I love this fight. It'll be May 30th in Vegas, and really interesting one they put together. So we hinted at the beginning of the episode, Richard Riakporhe has been added to the undercard of Canelo Alvarez Williams Skull. This is very surprising and not surprising. And I say it's surprising, or it's not surprising because Riakporhe said a while ago that he'll be back on this card. He's like, yeah, I'm going to be on that card. After, of course, he was meant to fight Lawrence Okoli. That didn't happen after Okoli got injured. Now, we don't know who this is going to be fighting, and it's weird because he was he announced himself he'd be on the card, and then nobody else said anything about it, and we got to fight. We was like, okay, I guess he's not on it. And then he did end up on it, and they're saying, oh, look, surprise edition, he's at the Grand Arrivals. We don't know who he's going to be fighting against. This is obviously his heavyweight debut. No word at all of who he's fighting. I'm kind of worried that they're just announcing he's fighting. He's going to be in like a 6 or 8 rounder against like a journeyman, which would suck, but whatever. It's just a fun addition to the card. It's going to be a good card, I think. I know it's gotten some flack, which I don't really get. Canelo cards are infamously not good, but this one I think is pretty solid. The last one PBC did was really good as well, but I'm excited to see this card nonetheless. Moving on from that, Wasserman has announced that Josh Kelly will be in with, I need to check his first name, but Bia, for June 6th in Newcastle, the Utilita Arena. And you know what? This is not a bad card they're doing. They got pretty much all their guys, and it seems like Wasserman is trying to, step up their game. Oh yeah, Flavius Bia, that's what it is. They're trying to step up their game, at least in terms of stacking their cards and putting on bigger events and going to bigger venues and doing bigger shows. You're going to have Tom Welland on here, Dan Toward, who actually got knocked out in his last fight. Felix Cash is going to be on this card. Very surprising addition. As is guys like Matty Harris, who's a good heavyweight. Neil Brown will be returning. Cody Smith. Cyrus Pattinson, who was a big matchroom prospect before he got stopped by Kona Walker, and Kona Walker's big, statement victory. So it's not a bad card. It's pretty good for what Wasserman can do. Some surprising names on there. This fight is still definitely disappointing because I feel like Josh Kelly needs to be in bigger fights. And to be honest, as much as I like the Sauerland brothers, he needs a new promoter because he's just been so stagnant. He fights once a year against just not the right opposition. He should be in, really, by this point, he should be in like a top 5 matchup in a sanctioning bout. I don't even think he's top 10 at 154. It's so deep, but like he should be in with somebody big, somebody good, fight where he's not really the A side in on a big re-out season show or something. I don't know. I feel like we're just kind of seeing his some stagnant stuff there, and it sucks to see because I think he is a good fighter. Osleis Iglesias versus Mark Jeffers is possible for the New York City card on July 12th. We know Isla Tiger's looking for a fight for Iglesias. Jeffers threw his hat into the ring, saying he wants that big shot. He wants to prove he's a good fighter. He's not getting the Callum Simpson fight for now. He wants this one. I love it. I think Iglesias wins, but I think I really like that Jeffers is stepping up. And if we can get this on that card, my goodness, what a card. It's already one of the best cards of the year, but, to throw Iglesias Jeffers on there would be a very welcome addition. This is interesting. Floyd Diaz, who is a top-ranked prospect, has been arrested for driving a stolen car and possessing a gun. I don't get this, man. Like, I feel like a lot of these young fighters, and to be honest, young American fighters, I don't know what they've got going on over here, but they just do stuff where it's like, man, what are you doing? Like these kids are making good money. They've got good setups. I mean, you look at Jared Anderson, who's, top prospect, and he's gotten arrested like 3 times. I don't get it. I don't know why a kid like Floyd Diaz, who probably makes really good money for someone his age, is stealing a car and possessing a gun. I have no idea, but it's just kind of disappointing to see. And I don't know. I hope they can figure this out. But yeah, I don't know. There's a lack of discipline and responsibility with a lot of young fighters today that needs to be solved. And I don't know how you do it, but this is not how they should be acting, and then they're potentially hurting their careers and even lives. G. Perez versus Andrew Strode has been announced for the interim flyweight championship at BKFC Hollywood on July 12th. I like G. Perez. He's the guy that is the cut man for BKFC. Who also fights. He's decent, but he's the one who got beaten by Bryce Hall and like the huge upset from a few years ago. It's interesting now getting an interim title shot. I can't remember the last time, if I ever remember BKFC having an interim title on the line, but here we are. So that'll be an interesting one. And then, last bit of news here. May 14th, so not this Wednesday, I think it is. Yeah, it's a Wednesday. So 2 weeks from today, essentially, we're going to be getting the first press conference for Jake Paul, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. It'll be fun. Jake Paul press conferences are always a lot of fun, but you're going to have Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. up there who wants to trash talk, so let's see how good he is at that. You're going to have guys like Zerto Ramirez up there, which will just make it interesting. I'm sure there'll be some talk about wanting to do that. Oscar De La Hoya will be on stage, I'm sure, as well, so that'll be a fun dynamic. It'll be a good press conference. That's all I've got for today. We'll be back on Friday, most likely in the morning, to talk about the huge weekend ahead. And yeah, what a fantastic weekend of fights. You're going to have literally 5 of the biggest stars in the world of boxing, and Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, Teofimo Lopez, Canelo Alvarez, Naoya Inoue, all in one weekend, and it's going to be good. I cannot wait. Plus, you get a really stacked UFC Fight Night in Des Moines, headlined by Corey Sandhagen, Davison Figueiredo. Also on Friday, you're going to be getting BKFC. I think that they're in Clearwater, if I'm correct. And then Thursday night, before any of this, you're going to get a PFL World Tournament card, the last one of the first round, heavyweights and light heavyweights. So that should be a lot of fun as well. Thank you for listening, and I will do another episode this weekend. I'm looking forward to it. Big weekend of fights, and peace out.